Get ready for some of the best sports talks and reactions on YouTube here at Mylk TV. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Mylk here with Grizz, and today we're going to be talking about the 2026 to 2027 NHL playoffs. Now, I am totally fine saying the 2025 to 2026 season, especially the playoffs, because it was greatest playoffs ever, in my opinion. I think that we can say there, and if you want to just talk about that, I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it.
I mean, we could talk about the playoffs for a little bit. Obviously, bothered me a lot more than it did you.
Yeah.
Trying to pull up the bracket now to see how it unfolded again.
Yeah, some unexpected performances. I mean, I know particularly you have some liking to the Dallas Stars, and so yeah. Well, I mean, all right. Look. You were hoping that it's conflicted.
I was employed by them, so it's like,
yeah.
If I don't root for them,
yeah,
a little bit of a problem.
I get it, but at the same time, yeah, I was gonna say the Hughes brother though, because the Wild versus the Stars, it was a wild start, and then pun intended, but yeah, everything was crazy, and then a lot of people thought the Avalanche were gonna win it all. But
yeah, that was definitely Avalanche. Definitely a big disappointment, especially losing 4-0 to Vegas. Like, if I remember correctly, that Pacific Division was really weak all year. Like, I mean, Vegas with 95, ending the season with 95 points would have barely qualified for the playoffs in the Western, or like in the Central Division, and then meanwhile, 95 points, you're not even in the picture in the East.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a lot of stuff where it was like, okay, you wouldn't be in the playoffs if you're in the East. I mean, it was like, because like, for instance, I know like your Devils, for instance, they would have. I think they would have been in the playoffs had they have been in that division. And that's why, like, a lot of people want to talk about like the the division, or not like the division, but the they want to like redo everything. They want to redo the I cannot remember for the love of me what it's called. The like how the playoffs are set up. I'm talking about. Like, so they wanted to like redo the alignment because you got the division rivalry, which they tried to set up. And like that automatically means, because like the Mammoth, if I'm not mistaken, the 4 seed were actually, did they not finish with more points than let's see. I think they finished with more points than Vegas, didn't they? Okay, they didn't, but they were 3 points back on Vegas, and they were also ahead of the Oilers. But I mean, it was a tough matchup. It was just, but like you could argue the same thing on the other side. It was like Carolina played Ottawa, and then they got to face the winner between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So it was like Carolina beat a team that was, based off of points, more difficult than. So there's, we could talk all day about that, but I will forever remember last year. I'll forever be happy about what happened last year, but now it's time to talk about the 2026 to 2027 season. And we'll start off with the Eastern Conference Final. We'll see what we both have for each one, and then we'll talk about it. So, Eastern Conference Final. Grizz, who you got? Let's see if we agree.
So, Eastern Conference Final, for what I'm thinking, I expect Florida to have a bit of a bounce back season. I also expect Toronto to have a bounce back season next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think one of those teams will get eliminated beforehand, because that would require one of them to be essentially a wild card team. on the other side of the bracket
Right.
in order for them to face off in the Eastern Conference Finals. That being said, as much as I would like to say, yeah, the Devils are going to be back in the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever, I have probably a more boring answer. I actually have Montreal, Carolina.
I debated that one.
That's different from what you guessed early on, because you thought my final was going to include Florida, but I really think Montreal's scarier.
I do get that. And just to say, I did pick Carolina versus Florida. I thought, and I think, number one, okay, I'm a Kings fan in general, but I don't really, there's nobody in the Metro that scares me. And there's not going to be a wild card team that's going to move me enough. Now, I'm probably going to eat, who knows, I may eat these words later on. But, like, I'm saying, like, there's not a wild card team that, like, scares me enough to be like, okay, it's going to be tough for Carolina. But, like, there's no one in the Metro that really worries me either. I mean, there's teams that, on the rise. There's a lot of question mark teams and stuff like that. Like Philadelphia, the Flyers are probably going to be pretty decent. Is Washington back? They made some acquisitions. I feel like the Islanders are always a wild card. I don't think the Rangers are really going to do much. Columbus is interesting, especially being able to keep on to some of their players. But I did think Carolina versus Florida. I thought about Montreal. My one thing about Florida, and this is what I put, like, spoiler alert, I have Carolina winning this series anyway. The one thing that I have worrisome about them is they're in net. And you would know more than anybody about those two netminders. And we would be second behind that because we faced those netminders and have had a lot of fun of telling them have a nice offseason in Cancun when they've been with their previous team. And look, I'm sorry. But when I saw it was Markstrom and Schmidt, I'm like, I'm not worried. I'm really not worried.
That's honestly hilarious. I didn't know that they got Akira Schmidt, but that just makes it all the more funnier. Their goalie tandem.
I was like, and that's the thing. Everybody's like, Carolina, they have to face the big bad Florida Panthers, and it's like, who do they have in net? And it's Markstrom and Schmidt. I'm like, brother, all of any kind of fear that we had is gone. Bobrovsky's in Toronto now, and it's like, I feel good, bro. I feel good. Like. It is the Atlantic is it's a buzzsaw. It's going to be hard to run through that because there's so much going on there. I mean, you've got Tampa Bay's not going away. Toronto's looking pretty good. I mean, they're the ones who got Bobrovsky. Buffalo, interesting season last year, finally making the playoffs. They're disappointing. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, everybody's going to be excited about that. Or no, I got the back. Luukkonen. Anyway, they're gonna be interesting to see. And then I just don't know how that is gonna go in the Atlantic. It's gonna be tough because they're all gonna be fighting each other. But I feel that I almost said Montreal though because they do have a good team and they're gonna be tough to deal with in the future too. But I don't know who's gonna come into that. It honestly, to me, it's probably gonna be the healthiest. But yeah, I do have Carolina and Florida, and I do have Carolina winning that series going back to the Stanley Cup. What about you? Who you got winning?
I obviously you know my feelings with your team and why essentially I'm gonna have a same sentiment as PK Subban as much as you hate him. It's just PK. Like, the same thinking essentially applies to myself as well as to why I'm going to say Montreal moves on, even though I don't believe it. But there's a part of me that wants to believe that this young roster that they have is going to be able to learn from what they did against you guys last year and not lose in 5 games.
Well, they're going to have to shoot the puck.
They are going to have to shoot the puck. That was a ridiculous... What was that, game 5? Where they, had no shots for the first 2 periods or something?
Yeah, I think so. It was absolutely crazy. Like, it may have been 4. It was either 4 or 5, but it was very crazy. And I will say, you're not at all like PK Subban, and nor do I see you in the same realm. Because first off, PK Subban would have had us losing in the first round of freaking, I don't know, Ottawa or what other team that comes out of the Atlantic that we have to face in the first round. Him thinking that Carolina would even win enough series to get to the conference finals is not something even in his mindset. He's like, he sees a hurricane and he's like, nope, ain't doing nothing with that. He's like, he sees a hurricane and he's like, no, ain't nothing there. He just looks at it and he thinks it's like a tropical depression. Well, guess what, brother? Ain't no depression over here with the Stanley Cup in our hands, all right?
He's so funny with his thinking, because honestly, if he was doing this segment, he'd be like, yeah, I just don't see Carolina making the playoffs this year.
I don't mean
it's like, dude.
And I saw someone was like, oh, they just don't like him because of the way he dresses. Like, brother, we pulled for Cam Newton. You think that we care about the way that he's dressing? You think that is what is a problem for us? No, it's nothing about that. I was like, this man is just, he's a hater to the end. And it's like, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, it gives him more clicks. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I love to see, you know, and I've said this, like, it doesn't reflect of who he is as a person. I'm not saying he's a bad person, you know. I don't know him like that, but it's like, come on, man, do a little bit of something. Like, you don't have to be a hater all the time, you know. And then he'd be like, oh, well, I put on that jersey that one time and at an All-Star game, and I love the Caniacs. Like, yeah, you backtracking now. You're backtracking, but either way. But well, the Eastern Conference is our heart and soul, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of conversation about do we think the Metros are the worst division? Because I think it's either out of the Pacific.
I was about to say I'm between us and the Pacific, but
the Pacific though they look like they have a good future. Anaheim and San Jose. I don't know, man. I'm a little worried that we might be in the dumps, which actually I'm not too worried about because we're not in the dumps, and that just helps us. A double bye to the conference finals is not a bad way to live right now.
I want to say the Pacific is weaker, but I don't know. I know Anaheim and San Jose are absolutely on the way up, and Edmonton still is Edmonton.
Right. Oh, and yeah.
Vegas is obviously still Vegas. I can't say enough about the LA Kings and like where they stand roster wise. I know they're never a joke. That like that's they have Eric Holla. Oh no.
Don't face Carolina, baby. You know how that's going to
go. But yeah, no, the LA Kings always manage to find themselves in the conversation as well. So I guess we would be. Yeah, I would say so, because like the Rangers just completely like tore down what they were doing.
Yeah.
The Devils are year one of a brand new GM. Like we're going into like we still have Hughes, Heischer, all those guys, and it's just a matter of like, okay, we got rid of Markstrom. Now we have a three goalie tandem, like three goalies all rotating in net, from Jake Allen to Nico Dawes, and we signed David Rittich. So like 2 30-year-olds and a 25-year-old. How is that going to go? I don't know.
Right.
We kind of are handcuffed with a lot of what we can do because of the previous regime handing everyone no trade clauses. So it's like you can't really retool if nobody wants to move.
Right.
Islanders could be something, could not be something. Matthew Schaefer was astonishing last year, but then they go ahead and it's like, what's happening with your forwards? You know, Matthew Barzal and Bo Horvat are like the only two names that I could really move me. in regarding to their roster. Kyle Palmieri's there as well. Nothing too crazy. Braden Shane is another good name from what I remember. They got Victor Eklund now. I believe that's a draft. Anthony Duclair. And, I mean, they're mainly going to be on their defense. They didn't add a lot this offseason.
Right.
Columbus, I know they're... No, I did not click on Carolina. I clicked on Columbus.
Or once, what it wants.
Columbus, I know there's a player on their roster that is trying to get traded out right now. I feel like it might be Marchenko. I believe it's Kirill Marchenko. That's who's trying to get traded out right now.
They recently had some there was conversations about Zach Werenski, but he's talked and said that he's going to stay there. So they kind of smooth everything over. But I know we were a potential trade candidate for him because there was conversation about that. So that was something that was considered. It didn't happen. Apparently he wants to stay there. So they've had they've stopped the bleeding per se, because it looked like they were is this going to be a retool, or is this going to be a full rebuild scenario? And if he would have been gone, that would have been it. Columbus would have to build from the ground up, because that's a young. Right. You can't lose so many young stars like that and just be fine. So it's what are you going to do? But that's just how it is right now, I guess. I don't know. I think it's going to take time. I don't think they're going to. They could, though. That's the one thing is if it were a different division, if it was the Atlantic, it's good luck. But it's the Metro, and I think we both agree that it's probably the worst division right now, at least on paper looking. But yeah, it's the most different. I think we've got we literally have contenders and first round pick contenders.
Right. And it was the Zach Werenski situation, honestly, was weird, because it was it was Columbus trying to trade him. Yeah. And Werenski was the one that was no, I want to be here. Which is honestly the opposite of any other trade situation ever in sports. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, most of the time, always it's the player that's I want out, I want to leave or whatever. And the team's well, we don't really want to trade you. And this was the complete opposite. This was the team being yeah, we're trying to send you away. And Werenski was just I don't want to leave Columbus.
Yeah. That's wait, actually, is that what we're doing right now? Yeah. Right. It's this is, it's not how, unless it's a bad player, unless it's how old are you? It's no, please, don't send me to Vancouver. But yeah, it's that's I don't know. That's how it is. But we'll definitely talk about the Metro quite a bit there. So I got Carolina going back to the Stanley Cup, and you have Montreal. But we got to figure out who's going to be facing them there. So Western Conference Final. I'm excited to see what you have. What you got?
For my Western Conference Finals, am going to use some job bias and say that the Dallas Stars will be facing the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference Finals.
Okay. We have very different. All right, so you got the Ducks and the Stars.
Yep.
You went a little risky. I like it. I did not go risky. I went very boring. I went Edmonton and Colorado. I look, I know it's boring, but I just think that Colorado is going to want that revenge. They had so many injuries last year. All they've heard about is getting swept by a team that wouldn't even be in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And I mean, they got Connor McJesus. All right. I mean, this is a very good team. And they're going to be taking on the Avalanche I'm sorry. The Oilers have Connor McJesus. Avalanche, though, they were top in almost every category last year. Expected goals, the goal differential, everything was just perfect for them. I took a note here. They were plus 99 last year in goals. And that was 40 more than the next best, which was Tampa, which was plus 59. And Carolina was plus 56, by the way, and New Jersey was minus 24. Just saying. That was just what I saw overall. But yeah, and I think that they had a disappointing season. They got through the gauntlet. I mean, the Kings weren't a big one, but then beating Minnesota, I think that's a tough division because that it's very top heavy too. I feel like the Central having Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota, especially Minnesota now, like that's pretty tough. And like those three teams are going to beat up on each other quite a bit. But yeah, and then Edmonton, I think that they got to get it done. I think they got a experienced coach that is liked, especially a lot like Hyman went to bat for Babcock. He's got his problems there from the past, so I hope that doesn't come up, because like mental health is definitely important for the players, and hopefully he doesn't like actually cause like mental anguish on the players. But yeah, I think that they're good, and I mean, I do have the Oilers beating the Avalanche though. So who you got in the Ducks and Stars?
I mean, for me, obviously, I think the Stars. It's kind of. I think the Stars is now or never for them this upcoming season.
Yeah,
especially with the Jason Robertson just 1 year agreement. Yeah. Obviously, the Stars still want to keep him, but like he's asking for quite a lot of money for a team that has quite a lot of money already tied up. So it's like. This is go for the Stars. Like you have to,
yeah.
You can't have this season and have like Jake Ottinger has to get it together, specifically when it comes to the playoffs.
Maybe Poirier's gonna have to come in.
I think there's too many names ahead of him on the list.
Really?
There's like 4 other goalies here.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I do think that, the Jason Robertson thing was kind of a shock to me. I thought it was going to be gone because I honestly, now I feel like he's probably just going to end up leaving for free next offseason.
Right.
And I thought, and I mean, who's to say that they don't try to do something? I mean, trade deadline, depending on this, where Dallas is at, in January, February, he may be on the move.
Yeah. And, obviously I was eyeing Jason Robertson very heavily to come to New Jersey, and it felt like we were the favorites to get him because he just made the most sense for us at the time. Mm-hmm. Jason Robertson being the just goal scorer that he is, but that's neither here nor there. Dallas, I think, will beat Anaheim in this matchup that I have. I love everything that Anaheim did last season, and I think them being able to keep Leo Carlson that the Flyers were trying to take him from. I think them being able to keep Leo Carlson is great. I think their forwards from Mikael Granlund to God, they have Chris Kreider here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little gross.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a good team. I think that they have a good future, and we kind of briefly talked on how in the Pacific, it's Anaheim's one of those teams to look for in the future. I ended up watching a lot of Ducks games because I was like, I want to watch hockey, so it would be late night. And I'd be like getting ready for bed or whatever. And the Ducks would be on because everything's done in the East. So the Ducks are on because game's time start 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm like, okay. And I would just watch some of them. And they're fun. They're fun to watch. Like they were a good team. Every game was interesting, it felt like. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see what they do.
And I feel like they could make this series close against Dallas, hypothetically, but I still think that Dallas is just that tier above. Now, that's also to say that in my mind, think that the gauntlet that Dallas is going to have to go through in order to get to the Western Conference Finals is going to be absolute hell, because you got to consider they're most likely going to face one of Minnesota or Colorado again, which is honestly a travesty.
Yeah, or both. I mean, they might have to face both. I mean, if you don't win that division, you're going to have to face two.
Right.
And so and those could be, not to make a meme, 6 or 7 game series. Like those could literally be. I'm not trying to make the meme, but I'm literally saying it, bro. It could literally go to 7 or potentially 6 games. All right. And I don't know. I think that it's going to be tough for them, but I got Carolina versus Edmonton. You got Dallas versus Montreal. Yours is I do like I would be fine. I mean, of course I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be fine with it overall. So who is going to be the Stanley Cup champion?
How many words is this? Yeah, 6 words. Keep the cup out of Canada.
Keep the cup out of Canada. He's going with it. I mean, we both keep the cup out of Canada, if we're gonna be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, you're picking you're obviously picking Carolina.
I am, baby, back to back. But another thing I didn't mention, Edmonton. You know who they got a goalkeeper?
Who?
Oh, you're gonna have to look it up. Because boy, oh boy, am I excited for this one.
Oh, Freddie's there.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. So, like, talking about the storylines, the Freddie Anderson Cup, 2006 Stanley Cup rematch. Can the Oilers finally get Canada a cup? Will Carolina be able to go back to back? Can Carolina get over in the run that I have over the Florida hump? Will the Oilers finally get over the Stanley Cup hump? You know, they've lost so many times here. What will happen? Will Connor McDavid finally get to hoist the Stanley Cup? And no, I went with Carolina because the unreal talent. Not many offseason moves. The only thing that they'd lost or really changed that they made was Freddie Anderson moving on, which not a big deal. We got Bussy and Coochie, baby, running back. And then now they have more experience, young core. I mean, that's one reason why I know we're going to be a pain in the Metro for a while, is because we do have such a young. We'll see what happens with the future with like Jordan Stahl and Martin Nook and stuff like that too. Like, that'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes, and like if they're able to replace those. And then we still have some moves to be made. We're gonna have to figure out our situation with the old Alexander Nikishin. We're gonna try to move off Jesper Kotkaniemi. And then, of course, it feels like almost every team was, but we were in the talks to get Connor Hellebuyck, potentially. So, will there be a trade? Will we try to get another goalie? I think we're just going to play everything by ear and see what happens there. But I know it's my team, but I'm going to ride the high. And I'm going to go Carolina wins it.
Okay.
And you're keeping the cup out of Canada?
Yeah, I am in fact keeping the cup out of Canada. I think it would be not only a good story for Dallas to finally them get over the hump after being like the team, like essentially the team that should make it every year in the Western Conference, being like, when are they going to do it? When are they going to do it?
Right.
And Dallas always has that competitive team, but they're never like the team at like any year. There's always one team ahead of them, and I think that next year will be that year where Dallas is able to get it done. And I still think, even with that happening, that'll be the end of the Jason Robertson saga with his term in Dallas. But I think it would be like a end off on a high note. I won a cup with this team. You know, and now Jason Robertson gets to command even more money, because now he's like, well, not only am I now a prolific goal scorer in the NHL, but also I just won a cup too. So,
Yeah.
now that, what was he looking for? Like 15 million?
Yeah. He did turn down 15 million from Seattle.
That 15 mil is now going to be like, yeah, I'm looking for more like, what, the cap's coming up? Let's try for like an 18, 19 million.
That'd be crazy.
That would be nuts.
I don't know who he's not going to contend. If he's going to win a cup, if he wants to get paid that much and win a cup, he's got to do it now because there's no. Because my thoughts are if he's like, I gotta get it, I gotta get this money, then this is his last chance to get the cup because it's not happening. I hate to break it to the Jason Robertson fans, but if he doesn't win a cup this year, and he goes somewhere and gets paid $18 million a year, he's not winning the cup. That is way too much. Way too much to like the talent, unless like some crazy things like a LeBron taking a pay cut situation, like Tom Brady taking a pay cut, like unless there's some GOAT, Connor McDavid and him go to like, I don't know, maybe they go to Columbus or maybe they go to, I don't know. I don't know, but that's just kind of like a something. I don't know how it's going to go, but so I got Carolina, you got Dallas. That would be an interesting final too. That would be a fun one.
Right. That's what I was hoping, honestly, for this past season.
Mm-hmm. That's what I had. I'm hoping I hope I can go back-to-back years with the
right champion.
With the right champion, that would be great. And then we'll do it all. We'll do this all again before the playoff. We'll do a playoff preview at some point. Okay. So maybe we'll do like a mid-season prediction too. We'll do like a mid-season, like All-Star break, like next February.
Okay.
And then we'll do right before playoffs. We'll run through the brackets together. And then if we can get it, perfect. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. And we'll probably end up talking about the Metro and more hockey at different times. But thanks everybody for listening to this. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe, leave a thumbs up. If you want more hockey content, comment. Who do you think is going to win Stanley Cup in the 2026-2027 year? Give us your Stanley Cup matchup. Is it going to be the favorites? Are we going to get the Devils? Are the Devils going to win the Stanley Cup? Are they going to somehow find a way? We're going to get the Hughes Cup. We're going to get the Minnesota Wild versus the New Jersey Devils. It'd be interesting. Let us know in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up. Appreciate y'all for being here, and we'll see you guys in the next one.